Boom! We're live! Hey there, this is Chris Schwegel with Chris Connects, and we've got a huge announcement to make this week. It's Wednesdays at 1, so you know we're live. We've got a course coming up. This course is brand new, and it's coming at you from me and from the Chris Connects team, and it's called My First Rental Property. It's all about getting you into your first real estate investment. I know that this is hard for a lot of people because there's so many parts, there's so many pieces of the puzzle to figure out here. Well, I've kind of been through that. I've done that a little bit. I've stubbed my toe quite a bit. I've paid for an education, you could say. And I want to share all that knowledge with you because at the end of it, real estate investing has been a true blessing for me and my family. A lot of you guys know my story. I am a social worker by trade. I got into the industry for the outcomes, not for the income. So I wanted to, make an impact in the community. I wanted to help people. I've always wanted to help people. When I was 15 years old and I took my first psychology course in high school, I knew that's exactly what I was going to do. I was going to study people. I was going to use whatever I could to help people. After being in the field for a while, you kind of want to make future. This is for you. Looks like we're back on. I still don't look all that great, but what camera am I on? What camera? Camera? This camera? Okay, great. We're talking about you. We're talking about you getting some passive income. We're talking about you getting involved in real estate. So, like I said before, there's a whole lot that goes into getting into real estate, which I think is a pretty big barrier for a lot of people and why they don't do it. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff to go into it, right? I mean, what about if the tenants get mad at you? How do you come up with money? How do you find leases? How do you figure out how to fix the place up? How do you even find a lease? What happens if someone destroys the place or their boyfriend moves in or something like that? What do you do? I've been through all that crap and I'm going to share it with you. And we've got a special pre-launch promo code going on. Typically, this course is going to be $597. I know that's not cheap for a lot of people, but it's a very, very comprehensive course. There's 34 videos involved. There's 5 modules. There's templates and worksheets. There's, all of my policies, all of my leases, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to share all that with you. All of my procedures and the way I, pre-screen tenants, screen tenants, get them involved. You get to have all that stuff. But right now, since we're pre-launch, I'll give you $200 off if you go to the promo code. That's at chrisconnects.co/myfirstrental. You get $200 off. So that's pretty sweet. Again, we're looking at launching April 1st. So that's a month from right now, which is why I'm dedicating this video to all you guys who are looking to get into real estate. So I mentioned before there's 5 modules, 34 videos. So what the heck does that mean? Well, I wrote it all down. I got my sheet of paper here because there's no way I was going to remember 34. So the first one is all about, the first module is all about getting you ready to make that purchase. At the end of this module, you will know exactly everything you need to purchase that property. This is extensive here. We've got, getting you mentally ready for the course, for the course and for putting yourself through what it's like to stub your toe, to stumble, to build your resiliency, to build your grit, because you're going to be doing stuff that you have never done before. So we got to get your mindset right. Next, we're talking about education. Now, this is something where people usually put way more into than they need. So this education is all about getting you ready to take some action. Next, we've got market research. We've got a video on sub-market research. We've got a video on neighborhood research, how to build your team. How do you analyze properties for financial viability? Getting all your mortgage paperwork and documents set up so that you're all ready to go. Next, we've got walking the property, how to read an inspection report and not freak out. Well, freaking out is probably a part of it. And then closing on the property. So when Module 1 ends, you'll know everything you need to know purchasing that first property. And let me tell you, purchasing my first property was a revelation for me. At the time, I was 33 years old. I was like super old. Like I'm way late to the game. So I was 33 years old and I was living in a friend's basement. I was paying him $250 to live in a basement with just a little tiny window. It wasn't an egress window or anything like that. And suddenly I owned a duplex and I was able to live in one part of it and rent out the other part. And I somehow went from having a $250 expense for housing every month to having a $200 income from housing every month with that first property. Since then, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years since then. I've made more on real estate than I've made in social work. And I haven't built this great big empire. You can get paid a lot in real estate if you just get started. There's so many tax benefits. There's so much equity that you can gain. There's so much positioning you can do, and with depositions and 1031 exchanges and cash flow, there's all sorts of possibilities, but you've got to get in the game. And this course is set up for you to do that. So after Module 1, when you've purchased the property, we move on to Module 2, which is all about getting this place ready for tenants to move in. That's right. Some people someday are going to pay you money to live at your place. That's pretty awesome. That is an awesome responsibility to provide housing for someone else, for someone else's family. You know, because they're going to go on vacation and they're going to come back home. And then home is going to be your property. They're going to raise babies, make memories. They're going to fall in love, fall out of love, you know, get divorces, get remarried. They're going to have pets. They're going to have family reunions. They're going to have all those celebrations at your place. I mean, isn't that cool? I just think that's really cool to be a part of other people's human experience like that. I mean, people are going to be like making scrapbooks and stuff in your place that they call home. What a blessing that is that you get to share that with other people. So Module 2 is all about getting this place ready for tenants to move in. So the first video is about like preparing the property, like figuring out your scope of work, figuring out the term scope creep and how to avoid scope creep, how you can get contractors in there, how you can do this and mitigate all your time, mitigate all the added expenses that inevitably happen with pretty much every sort of flip or renovation. And then next, it's all about marketing the property. You can have a beautiful place, but if no one knows it's there, then no one can move in. So I'll tell you about some best practices for marketing your property, how to take great photos, how to list it, how to have word of mouth. And then we're going to talk about pre-screening tenants. This is where this course gets really crucial because at this point in the game, people are excited. I know probably a handful of people who have gotten into real estate investing, gotten this far, gotten really excited, and then gotten the wrong tenants in there. And then they just got jaded. You know, someone trashes the place or someone is, you know, growing some sort of illegal meth trafficking international site or something. I don't know. That's ridiculous. But everyone fears that their place is going to get on the news or that the tenants are going to trash it. This is the bread and butter of this course. This video about how to pre-screen tenants is worth the entire price of the course. So we're going to talk about how you can pre-screen tenants and how you can get the right people in for tours and how we're going to create a lot of excitement and buzz about this place on tour day, so you don't have to do it more than once. I've done this a good dozen times, and every single time it works like a charm. We've got the systems down. They'll be your systems soon. We're going to talk about giving great tours. We're going to talk about doing background checks. We're going to talk about how you can discuss the lease with someone to build rapport, plus create boundaries so that everyone knows expectations. This will help you. Don't be afraid to say no to somebody. Be afraid of saying yes to the wrong person. Avoid the headaches right away. Trust me. People need housing. That's one of the beautiful parts about investing in real estate, is that people need housing. And we have the distinct honor of providing them with safe, supportive, warm places to stay that, are great places to raise a family. We are not here to rip anybody off. We're not here to be slumlords. We're here to provide awesome housing at probably slightly below market rent. And I'll discuss that in the course, why that's the strategy. But we are here to get the right people in so that the right people can stay for a long time. That helps us out and it helps them out. Oh, and then we're going to talk about signing the lease with that person. And again, how you can build rapport by signing the lease and create expectations and boundaries with that person. Next, we're on to module 3, and that's managing the tenants. That's right. It's awesome because now you're pretty much on easy street, but you will want to maintain some contact with tenants, but not get in their face or be overbearing. So we're going to talk about kind of a best practices, like for an ideal communication schedule there. We're going to talk about how you can check in, give little gifts, get people to talk to you about fixes and repairs that are needed before they become great big fixes and CapEx expenses. Next, we're going to talk about payments, non-payments, breaking the lease. We're going to talk about handling repairs. How do you create your list of people who you call upon to go and fix the place? What's your processes and standard operating procedures for when the tenants tell you something needs to be fixed or replaced? We'll go through that. My system will be your system. We're going to talk about bookkeeping and accounting. Then we're going to talk about renewing the lease. Yay! They want to renew the lease. So what do you do here? Do you have a escalation clause? Do you keep things the same? Do you give them a gift? We'll discuss all of that. I've done a bunch of experimenting with this, and I'll share the best practices for that. Next, we're on to module number 4, which is the turn. This is what happens sometimes when people move out. And generally when people move out, the landlord says, oh no, or it's a bummer or something. Don't do that. We are going to be landlords who use our empathy towards other humans to be fantastic property managers. And we're going to do that here. Generally, when people are moving out, they're either upgrading to something that fits their family or growing budget or a different neighborhood or whatever that may be. Generally, it's a happy moment. Sometimes people are downgrading because someone lost a job or because they want to move somewhere else in your family or whatever. Most of the time, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. So make sure that your response has absolutely nothing to do with you and say, that's great. Can you tell me why you're moving out? Can you tell me what I can do to help you with this transition to your next place? And that's going to be important because at the time when people are going to be moving out is the time when they do the most wear and tear. And you're trying to avoid all of that wear and tear. So we are collaborating with tenants as they move to their next place. We're not fighting with them. We are collaborating with them. We are partners in their move. So we're going to talk about how you handle the news that someone's going to move out. We're going to talk about your 30-day assessment, your 10-day assessment, and the day of walkthrough. How you can handle all this stuff to make sure that the place is picked up and cleaned. You're not wasting time. You're not wasting energy. You're not wasting money on getting this place cleaned and ready for the next people. We're talking about the expectations about when you're going to show the property and what it's going to look like as you show the property for the next people. and you're going to talk to the current tenants who are moving out about why it's in their best interest to have the place spick and span so the next people can move into a great place. And we're going to talk about the timeline here and how we can do some best practices here to make sure that that timeline of vacancy is a lot of times nothing. Module 5. Now you're a seasoned pro and you want to build your empire. So we're going to talk about odds and ends and how you can build your portfolio in real estate. And this is what's great about real estate investing. You can use leverage to take what you have in terms of capital for a down payment, combine that with the bank to get a mortgage and buy something that will help you leverage your investment, but also you're collecting cash flow, getting tax benefits, and you can scale and build your portfolio as you want to. So we're going to be talking about the 5 ways that real estate pays you. We'll talk about creating additional income from your one property. There may be things there that you could add to boost your income monthly. We'll look at taxes and depreciation. We'll look at legal. We'll look at deposition options. And we'll look at building your portfolio. We'll even talk about some niches in real estate, whether it's residential assisted living or moving into large multifamily or self-storage or whatever that might be that's in your future. Some people have their heart in a certain niche like shared housing or sober housing or something like that. So that's the course in a nutshell. What you're going to get is everything that I know and all of my support 100%. What you're not going to get is me doing it for you. You've got to come up with that on your own. Generally, people get motivated by 2 things: what they want and what they fear. A lot of people fear bankruptcy. A lot of people are fearing money in a recession. This is a great way that you can create a side hustle that may become your main gig. I mean, I know someone that happened to. On another point, this is a way that you can quell some of your fears about, I don't know what to do. Learn all the stuff. Learn everything I've got. I'm not holding back anything. Absolutely transparent about everything that happens in my company and everything that we do in terms of policies, standard operating procedures, all that kind of stuff. It's all there. But lastly, I want you to think about what you want. I want you to think about your future in 10 years, in 20 years. What are you going to be doing? What's your vision? Who are you going to be spending time with? And what are you going to be up to? You're going to need some time. You're going to need some income. You're going to need some freedom. Real estate investing affords us financial freedom unlike any other asset class. This could be a way that you, or maybe a loved one, gets into the world of real estate investing, because that's my mission. I am Chris Schwegel with Chris Connects. My one mission in life is to help improve the financial health of 1 million community helpers out there. People like me who chose outcomes in the community versus income. Let's get those people some more income so that they stay in their jobs, so they feel more satisfied in their jobs, so they feel more committed to their work and to the community. That's what it's all about. So I hope you join me. chrisconnects.co/my first rental. $200 on me. I'll see you next time. Take care.